Hello, my name is and welcome to my MYP-5 Personal Project. Today I will be talking about the impact of climate change on coastal and dry regions over the next 75 years by focusing on the research question: how will different levels of CO2 emissions reduction impact coastal cities and dry regions over the next 75 years?
Global warming, a term that has transcended scientific circles to become one of the most discussed and urgent issues of our time. Over the next 75 years, its impact will transform coastal and dry regions in ways unimaginable today. These environments, so distinct yet interwoven in their vulnerability, face drastic changes that threaten not only their landscape but also the lives and livelihoods of billions. In this documentary, we journey through time and space to understand the true impact of global warming on these fragile regions, touching upon environmental, economic, and social implications. What kind of future are we facing if we don't act now? To start off, coastal regions are on the front line of global warming. Rising sea levels caused by melting glaciers and expanding seawater threaten to erode beaches, submerge towns, and displace communities. Experts warn that by 2100, sea levels could rise by over 3 feet, a scenario that would have irreversible consequences for coastal ecosystems and infrastructure. But the impact isn't only environmental. Rising seas threaten cities, affecting real estate markets, insurance, and tourism industries. Some towns are already planning for relocation, while others may face an uncertain future, where frequent flooding may simply become the norm.
350 trees along this coast, just this area alone. Coconut trees. Giving coconut every time, every time, every time. How many are left? Because of the erosion. And we said, come and do something in time. Anyway, it's not too late. It must be done. It must be done.
I'm living here, let's say more than 15 years now. And the water is very far to the house. I can't even point at where the water was when I came. I can't even point at it now. But gradually, the water is coming closer, 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 until last week, it got worse. So I have to pass window, jump out to the room, because there's no frontage to come out again.
22 meters were eroded from between the 14th of April 2018 and the 6th of July 2018. When we did this modeling, as at 25th of August, this red line this is now the ocean. From this red line to this point is the ocean. So with all of these homes you are seeing, all of these houses, these are shanties of people who are living here. We have some humans living there. So all of these parts are all completely gone. So now, based on our projection, the projection of the least distance the sea will have eroded to is, so if we take 128 meters from here to here, by 2026, this is where it will be at. And that is why we're saying that this scenario projection is based on the fact that other conditions, that water level, wave intensity, height of the beachhead, etc., remain the same. However, from what we know, by the time the erosion continues for another 50 meters, it will be on the flat ground, which means that there will be a free flow of ocean towards the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, submerging everything in its path. So these we are projecting to happen latest 2024. Yes, if everything are based on our projection. And that is why this is a wake-up call to everyone, everybody responsible to do. It's not just the government, the resident association, everybody around here needs to wake up to that responsibility.
Nevertheless, dry regions are equally vulnerable, yet they face an entirely different fate. As temperatures rise, droughts will become more severe, water sources scarcer, and lands once suitable for agriculture rendered barren. This process, known as desertification, is already underway in areas like sub-Saharan Africa, parts of the United States, and Australia. For those who depend on the land, this changing climate could spell disaster. Agricultural yield will plummet, threatening food security and increasing prices. Economies that rely on agriculture will see instability, and many will be forced to leave in search of better opportunities. Moving on, the economic toll of global warming is staggering. Coastal infrastructure is crumbling under storm surges, while dry regions face soaring costs for water sourcing and food imports. Without decisive action, the global economic costs of climate change could exceed trillions of dollars by 2100. But climate change also presents an opportunity for innovation. Renewable energy sources such as wind and solar farms are creating green jobs and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Cities like Copenhagen are harnessing heat from waste treatment plants to warm homes in winter, reducing their carbon footprint while also cutting costs. Moreover, as rising seas and advancing deserts render regions uninhabitable, millions will be forced to leave their homes. By 2050, the World Bank predicts that over 140 million people could become climate migrants, reshaping societies and putting immense pressure on urban centers. Yet innovations are emerging to support displaced populations. In Bangladesh, floating schools equipped with solar panels ensure children in flood-prone areas can continue their education. Refugee camps are being outfitted with modular, solar-powered housing, offering safety and dignity to those in need. Furthermore, the ecosystems of coastal and dry regions vital to life on Earth are on the brink of collapse. Coral reefs are bleaching due to rising ocean temperatures, while dry lands are losing vegetation at an unprecedented rate. These changes are not only environmental but also economic and cultural. From marine robotics planting coral larvae to AI-powered conservation drones monitoring wildlife, innovation is helping protect biodiversity in sub-Saharan Africa. Reforestation drones are planting trees at a rate never before seen, while in Australia, scientists are using gene editing tools to develop heat-resistant corals. Now let's explore the data on climate change and its impact on coastal and dry regions over the next 75 years. The projections differ based on 3 carbon reduction scenarios: aggressive, moderate, and limited. In the aggressive reduction scenario, global emissions are reduced by 90%. This leads to a steady decline in temperature changes. Starting with a significant increase in 2007, we see temperatures gradually fall to 0.7 degrees by 2099. Such immediate and bold action can provide a sustainable future, protecting both ecosystems and communities. With moderate reduction, the changes are less pronounced. Coastal regions, for instance, start with 1 degrees and increase to 1.5 in 2099. Dry regions fare slightly worse, reaching 1.8 degrees. While these increases are slower, the risks of rising sea levels, heat waves, and droughts remain pressing concerns. The limited reduction scenario shows the most severe outcomes, with only 20% cuts in the emissions. Temperature changes increase exponentially. Coastal regions see a rise to 2.1 degrees, while dry regions reach up to 2.52 degrees by the end of the century. These trends highlight how directly proportional temperature changes are to carbon reduction efforts. One thing is clear: earlier and more aggressive reduction results in significantly better outcomes. Coastal regions benefiting from oceanic thermal regulation still face rising sea levels, while dry regions endure severe droughts and heat. Even after reductions, temperature changes carry long-term momentum, reinforcing the urgency of collective global action. In conclusion, over the next 75 years, coastal and dry regions will face significant challenges, but we can mitigate their impact through innovative solutions. Coastal regions can be protected with stronger seawalls, mangrove restoration, and renewable energy like offshore winds. In dry regions, smart irrigation, drought-resistant crops, and solar farms can address water scarcity and rising temperatures. Technologies like carbon capture and climate-resilient infrastructure can further aid global efforts. This is not just an environmental issue, but a moral and social challenge that requires immediate action. Together, we can create a sustainable future for all.